A while back, I made a video about Saints Row losing a ton of money. Now, the reason I did this is because everyone was asking for my opinion, but I didn't really understand all the information, so I basically left with a general consensus of, if it's true, it kinda sucks, but I don't know if it is true. So, the reason I've done a bit more research into this now and I'm finally making this video is because a similar thing happened when people said Volition were being shut down. It was false information, they were never being shut down, they were just being changed publishers, but people went into a frenzy and started putting mass misinformation out. And I think a possible similar thing has happened here. So, I'm going to talk about a few things that the Embracer themselves have actually said, and why I think the article may not be the most 100% true thing in the world. I don't think it's blatantly putting false information out, but I also just don't think it's 100% accurate like people are portraying it as. So, let's get straight into it. First off, I want to talk about a statement from the Embracer here when they basically switched over to Gearbox, and this is important. The reception of Saints Row did not meet full expectations and left the franchise partially polarized. This is true. However, this is the key bit. Financially, Saints Row has performed in line with management expectations in the quarter. Now, the reason I bring this up is because they are saying that it has fallen in line and basically done as expected, which, if you're making a game, you're going to expect the game to make a better profit. Why would you create a game with the intention of it losing money? It doesn't make much sense. So this to me is basically just saying that in this quarter, it's made the money they expected it to make. And again, I doubt that they would make a game with the intention of losing profit. But that's not the only thing, because right after this, there's something else that really bugs me. The account that basically posted that Saints Row cost 100 mil to make and all this information, and the thing is, I know for a fact some of the things they are saying is not true. Or at the very least, from my surface level viewing, I can at least say I've heard nothing in a very similar vein to what they're saying here. They say it wasn't publicly disclosed, but it's a well-known fact behind the scenes. They're talking about the budget in this, and I can tell you for a fact this is false. The budget is one of the most well-kept secrets in there. I don't know the budget, and I've been, in talks with Volition and Deep Silver for ages at this point. I know Godzilla doesn't know the budget. And, I mean, he went and visited Volition HQ. You think if anyone knew the budget, it would be him. So, trust me, it is not a well-known fact behind the scenes. I can assure you of that, because the amount of people I've spoken to who have got no clue of what the budget could be. The budget is not a well-known fact, I can assure you that. It seems like his logic is here that Saints Row came out, and also the Embracer lost a lot of money around a similar time, but correlation and causation aren't the same thing. Now, the reason this is important is because it means it's basically a rough estimate. Now, estimates aren't inherently a bad thing, but I do also think it means we should perhaps hold off on claiming it as 100% fact. We don't know what the budget is, it isn't publicly disclosed, and he took a guess, basically. It was a practical guess, but still just a guess. And I think that if YouTubers are going to kind of put it out there as 100% true, they should really state this, instead of saying, yep, it's 100% true, this is definitely what happened. We've got no idea what the budget is for Saints Row, it's not publicly disclosed. And for Agents of Mayhem, 100 mil seems very high. I mean, they were looking for investors off the launch of this game. I mean, they had the Epic Games deal to get money. I mean, the budget cannot have been that high. Why would they go with all these different deals and marketing ploys if they had 100 mil to spend on the game? It's one thing I kind of look at least. And another thing to take note of is they also commented a long time ago, this is before launch in fairness, but I'm still going to bring it up because it is correct and official sources of data, that the pre-orders were doing really well for the game, way past expectations. So, realistically, all I'm going to say is, I still don't fully know if this is true or not, but I personally don't believe it. And the reason I don't believe it is because I'm going to believe it when it comes from an official source, and not from a Twitter account that's kind of just done some rough estimating. Until we know exactly what the budget was and exactly how many copies have been sold, I'm going to hold off on saying it was a big financial flop or not. I mean, we'll probably get some information fairly soon, but the DLC is not even out, and stuff like that. There's still plenty of time not only for the game to make a profit, but also for the game basically to have some real details come out about its sales and us to actually get an official statement on it. That's my logic, and I hope you enjoyed this little video basically talking about where I'm at with it. Just to throw this out there before I go, I don't necessarily think he's lying, I just think there's been a few leaps and jumps, and I kind of want to see a bit more information come out before I personally agree with it all. So I just wanted to throw that out there before everyone thinks oh my god, he's calling him a liar. Not necessarily, there is logic backing up some of the things he says, but I want to wait for a bit more before I fully agree with it or even personally believe it, because right now there's a lot of information telling me both things, that the game has sold well and done well, and also there's information that they're saying that it hasn't, so I'm going to wait until there's an official source giving me some more information before I jump to any conclusions. But I also don't want to make any more videos on this topic, so if there's any updates, I'm going to just put them in the comments down below. So if any big updates come out or any big information pops up, be sure to let me know in the comments and I'll respond to it. And, you know, I'm completely up for having a genuine, sensible talk about this thing. I mean, I don't know all the information, and if you guys have got something to bring to me as fact, then I'll happily look into it and research it and kind of take it on board. I'm not arrogant. I'm interested to know what you guys think, and also I'm interested to see if there's any more evidence backing up what he's saying or what the Embracer are saying, etc. So, you know, feel free to make it like a direct conversation. Keep it non-toxic, but feel free to just have a bit of a direct conversation down below so we can talk about this and basically get to the bottom of it, because I think there's just a lot of information flying around right now, and I want to know what you guys' thoughts are and basically what everyone thinks.